Hello everyone, haven't posted for a while, but it's all about the subject matter. And you got to say, what a lovely scam. People are falling through left, right and centre. What am I talking about? Here in the UK, I'm in London, house prices apparently gone up, bird in the sky, by 10.9%. Sounds great on paper, doesn't it? And the government and the banks are now offering people not only 100% mortgages, so never mind a deposit, but even more if possible. Come and buy, get a mortgage. And I was thinking to myself, oh, what a beautiful scam this is. Anybody, if you're reading this or watching this, World Economic Forum a few months ago put out I think it was an 8-point plan for life between now and 2030. And one of their little ditties was, you will own nothing and you will be happy. So let's just think about this. We've just gone through, and we're still going through, month 18 of COVID, lockdowns, vaccinations, job losses, unemployment, furlough, etc., etc. Not only here in the UK, but all over the world. And the government is saying to people, and people are falling for this, are saying, never mind that. If you've got a job, get a mortgage. What's the average year span of a mortgage? 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, a fifth of a century, a quarter of a century. And what we want you to do, people, is sit in your home with your mortgage, which, let's face it, is a loan. Well, it's called mortgage to make it sound good, but it's actually a loan of more than likely hundreds of thousands of pounds. And we want you, over the next 15, 20, 25 years, to trust that not only will you have a job, you'll have a job paying minimum what it is paying now. You and your partner, your wife, your husband, who is probably also on the mortgage, will also have that job, that wage, for the minimum of the next 15 years, if not the next quarter of a century. Trust us with your home. And people are going, okay, I'll do that. And banks are going, what a bunch of mugs. Because just think of how the banks view this and how the banks make their money. They give you a mortgage, let's say for argument's sake, it's 150 grand. Could be 3-4 times, but let's say 150,000 pounds. Right, they will loan you 150,000 pounds, payable over the next 20 years. So today you can go and buy that flat. Lovely. Then you move into that flat, and for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you're working, your partner's working, you're paying your mortgage every month. There you go, £852.16p straight into the bank, and the bank's going fine, and you think everything's tickety-boo. Until the problem starts. Because if you lose your job, if your partner loses his or her job, if for any reason you can't make your payments, and it goes on for, let's say, 3 consecutive months, which isn't very long, and the bank says, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, you haven't paid your mortgage in the last 3 or 4 months, the last quarter, so guess what we're doing? We're taking it back, because you don't own that house until you've paid off all of your mortgage. Until then, it's our house that you're paying to live in until you pay us the £150,000 that we lent you to buy the place. And what does the bank say? Right, we'll repossess. Thank you very much. You two, sod off. You might have had children, not our problem. Social services, mate, whatever. And they take back your flat, which you bought for £150,000 5 years earlier. The bank sits there and says, right, how much have these two paid off their mortgage? Oh, in the 5 years they've paid off £20,000. Right. So the debt to us is £130,000. Right. That covers their debt. So the bank puts the flat into a housing auction. And the bank says, as long as we get £130,000, we're fine. And a property developer, someone wealthy, comes along, looks at your flat. Well, it was worth £150,000 5 years ago. Well, it's now worth £190,000. So property person comes along and goes, how much should the flats in this part of town go for? Oh, anything from £190,000 to £200,000. Good area, schools nearby, supermarket, rail links. Yeah, good location. So he comes along, she comes along, buys your flat, let's say for 140, knowing it's worth 190. The bank sits there and goes, how much should the flat sell for? 140. So the bank says, oh, not only do we get £130,000 back straight away, we got an extra 10 grand on top of it straight away. The person who just bought your flat for 140, what do you think he or she's going to do? Sticks it on the market, 185. Someone comes in and goes, that's a bargain, I'll have that. He or she sits there and goes, right, I bought it for 140, I sold it for 185. Took me 6 weeks from buying it to flogging it. I've made myself £45,000 in a month and a half. So he or she's very happy. The bank sits there and goes, we got 130 grand back, plus another 10 grand on top. Thank you very much. We're very happy. And guess where that leaves you? The mug who thought, yeah, I'll leverage my future, my family's future, perhaps my marriage, perhaps my mental health, on taking a mortgage towards hopefully the end of COVID and banking on the next 15, 20, 25 years, I would have a job that pays no less than it does right now. Now that to me is madness. But it's a beautiful scam because the government sits there and goes, we couldn't give a monkeys about you people. The banks sit there and go, we couldn't give a monkeys about you people. The money sits there and goes, money doesn't care. Who owns it? Who has it? Who spends it? It's always there. But you, who've leveraged your future, your family's future, come on people, it's a scam, wakey. Don't get a mortgage now. Find out if you're going to have a job in 12 months. For whatever savings you've got, keep them. Come back in 12 months' time. Then see what's the market doing. What's your job doing? Is your job employing people or laying people off? What's going on? But don't be so stupid and get a mortgage because, oh, no deposit, 5% deposit. You're getting scammed. And you're the one that's going to pay, not the government, and certainly not the banks. Ciao, ciao.